This is Zay Brooks.
This is Brennan Wheeler.
I'm Josh Wheat.
Kevin Warren.
And you're listening to...
You're listening to
the Extended Family Podcast. Let's go.
That's a closer.
What's up, everybody? It's your host, Ricky Delgado Martinez, and welcome back to another episode of the Extended Family Podcast. I hope everyone is doing great today, man. I hope you've had a great week so far. Let's finish this week on a productive note. Make sure you subscribe to the show, following on Instagram at the Extended Family Podcast, and go leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. If you like the podcast or you like this episode or any episode before, go leave a review. That would be great. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Taylor is our guest today. DT, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Already know, man. Appreciate you for having me, man.
Yep. How's everything going? I know it's been a while. It's been a while since we've talked, since we've seen each other. And so how's everything?
Going good, man. You know, trying to day by day, keep progressing and just living life, man. Trying to survive. Stay positive through this COVID, man.
So to give everyone kind of a background, we met within the athletic department. I think I was a freshman and you were a senior running track. And we were introduced through Antone in the equipment room, and we've just been cool with each other, ever since then. And I wanted to, have you on the podcast today, not only just to check up and to also just to see what you've been doing, because, following you on Instagram, it seems like you're doing a lot of online sales, trying to do some stuff with that, selling things through Instagram. So I'm happy to talk with you about that later. But, to give everyone a quick background of yourself, can you fill everyone in on, who you are and what you've been doing right now?
Yep. So Derek Taylor, everybody knows me as DT, born and raised in Sacramento, California. Fast forward, I went to Chico State, track scholarship, ran track for 5 years, redshirted, then I competed for 4 years. I worked in the athletic department for 3 years under Tone, and we managed all the equipment, jerseys, setting up games for all the sports. So not only was I real close to the track team, I was close to basketball, soccer, all the sports I got real cool with. Ended up getting my degree in construction management with a minor in business. And then now I work as a project manager for a general contractor. And then outside of graduating and working full time, I'm trying to go on an entrepreneurship journey with myself and some others as well. So,
okay. So what are you doing with the contractor again?
So it's construction basically.
Okay.
So the owner hires us. We're the general contractors. We hire all the people to build the jobs, and we manage the construction process. That's the simplest I can say. What made you
pick that to go into? I mean, starting like in the very beginning with like your degree.
Yep. So actually, I started off with electrical engineering, and when I was younger, I thought electrical engineering. So I thought they built PlayStations and robots and electrical cars. I thought they did all this stuff, and then I come to school and find out that that's not what they did. So I actually took, I think three semesters of electrical engineering classes. And then I was actually behind in math. Like, you're supposed to start off in like calculus, and I was already like starting off in like pre-calc or something. I was just behind. It was going to take me like 7 years to graduate or something. And then I was like, I need to switch my major. Ended up going right in the middle between business and engineering, which was construction management. And then I got a lot of family in construction, my grandpa, some uncles, and I felt like that was just the best segue. And then at the time, I knew that a lot of construction management majors graduate with, good paying jobs and stuff. So that was kind of my mindset originally. And then as I started becoming a student of the major, I started to like it a lot more. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
You said like, construction management was like between the engineering and the business. It was like, a good mixture of the two, I guess. Can you kind of explain why? Because like when you said that, I was kind of like trying to figure out why. So like, can you just like explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So like on the engineering side, it's mainly math and physics, a lot of equations. There's not necessarily, there is a business side of it, but when you're going to school, you're doing a lot of algorithms, a lot of mathematics, a lot of physics. But on the flip side, construction management, like I took a lot of business courses. I took the econs, the accountings, I took the calculuses. I took management classes, marketing, business law, and then I also took the physics and the calculuses, and then the construction management classes. So it's a nice hybrid. I got to take a lot of business classes, and I got to take a lot of engineering and mathematics classes, and then I got my minor in business, which actually was only 3 extra business classes. So it worked out.
Okay.
So middle.
Okay, so you talk a little bit about your role right now, because I didn't when you filled out that thing for me, I didn't really understand, like, you know, what the position was at the contractor. So can you just explain a little bit more of what you're doing right now too?
Yep. So I'm in construction. My company is Whiting Turner, and we build basically a lot of retail, a lot of schools, a lot of design build projects, a lot of Kaisers right now in the Sacramento area, some high tech companies. Can't name them all. You know, we've done some big Disney projects on that new store my company actually built. So we have 33 offices throughout the nation. I'm based here in Sacramento, and I'm currently working on a Kaiser ED expansion. So our role as a general contractor is to manage the building process. So we have an entity Kaiser. Kaiser wants to build, you know, a $2.7 million job or a $10 billion job. Doesn't matter the price. They want to build a job, right? And so what they would do is they would reach out to their general contractors or bid the project out, which would be a company like the company that I work for, as the construction experts, right? And so with that being said, they would say, yep, we want this, this, and this. They would hire their architect, design firm. They would hire us as the general contractors, and we'd work together and say, you know, this is what we can build you for this amount of money. And then so our job as the general contractor would be to go out and get all the electricians to install the power, lighting, all the trades in the field, plumbing, mechanical, your ceiling, your flooring, your concrete, all the trades.
Okay, so they kind of put you in charge of you're like the nucleus, and like they put you in charge of like figuring out what the rest, like what makes up the body pretty much of everything else that gets put together.
The middleman, to say we the plug. So they hire us, go hire all of basically the work. So I don't work in the field. I don't put boots on the ground, no hammer, no nails, no tools for me. We hire the companies who do specialize in that, contract them, and manage the building process, schedule, costs, the man crews, all that. We manage the building process.
What's the networking with something like that, like with the people that you meet? Because I'm pretty curious as to, you know, maybe like the different, I mean, CEOs maybe, or just different things or different people that you've been able to meet through the various projects that you've worked on.
So it's kind of cool. It's a little bit different because we're in a new age of construction now. So like when I went to apply for this job, well, actually they came and recruit. So the construction management department at Chico's like top notch in the nation. And so they have companies come recruit. So I didn't have to go to career fairs, you know, throughout college to try and get a job. They would actually come to the campus and recruit straight out of the construction management and straight out of the engineering department. All you literally have to do is show up, sign up for an interview, and you can get an interview. You don't have to send a resume in and try and talk your way into an interview. You basically sign up and you get one. And so with that, when it was time for me to start looking for a full-time job, I had 2 internships prior, but going looking for a full-time job and interviewing with all these companies, when a lot of their requirements was you have to have a degree, right? So in the construction industry, a lot of people who are very knowledgeable are the people who've been working for 15, 20, 25 years. So when I initially graduated in the office as a project manager, there were a lot of peers. You know, there were some people who graduated within 5 years of me working, people that were the same year as me. Some of them went to Chico State, Davis, Sac State. So we got a younger group of people. And then you got like the older PMs who graduated from college as well. And then you got a lot of the field guys or different project managers who grew up in the trades. So they didn't go to the college route. They were old school, you know, straight when they graduate high school, they're going straight to the construction field and working. So you got a kind of a mixture of some college graduates, some young cats my age, and then you got some older gentlemen or women with a lot of knowledge who just grew up working in the field, you know, but it's real cool. Like a lot of people's very family oriented, you know, and a lot of sports heads, football, basketball, golf heads, you know what I'm saying? And I can't speak for all the general contractors, but that's how my company is. And that's kind of what I've seen. And then also the companies that we hire to help build, it's kind of the same way, a lot of the same camaraderie as well.
Okay. So, you're talking with a lot of like the people who are, into sports. And I know that you're into sports, not only being a former athlete, but you are a Raider fan, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we got that. And I know, thinking about the Super Bowl's coming up on Sunday, and I've been thinking about who I want to pick, because it's kind of tough. We got,
Yeah.
as Raider fans, we got Mahomes on one side. That's a division rival. But then it's like, trying to pull for Tom Brady. It's like, I don't know if I could do that, but I'm definitely going for Tampa Bay just because of the Chiefs factor. I don't know. What do you think?
I've been having this conversation with a few homies the past like 3-4 days, and I've been kind of teetering, but I think I want to go Bucks, man. I don't have no money on the line, so I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? But I think I want to go Bucks. It'd be tight to see Tom Brady get another ring, and then somebody different. The Bucks haven't won since
Since they beat us, yeah. Since they beat us in the Super Bowl, yeah.
But it'll be a good game. I'm just gonna say Bucks because of Tom Brady. I feel like you just can't bet against the man. So
it amazes me that he's still, like, he made it back to the Super Bowl, just not in New England. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. He's really the GOAT.
Yeah, he is. Like, there's no, as much as I hate to admit that, it's no question he's the GOAT, no doubt. Yeah. But also with sports too, man. I know you're into sneakers. I know you love sneakers. You're a sneakerhead, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So
actually, I've been trying to use the word sneaker enthusiast.
Sneaker enthusiast. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna keep that in mind during this part. So for me, I never really got into like shoes like that. I like looking at them. But I don't really understand. Like, I couldn't tell you like what a certain pair of Jordans was. I'm more of like a casual shoe guy, like Vans right now. Mostly since the pandemic, I've been in flip-flops because there's nowhere else to go. But growing up, I wore a lot of Jordans. And over time, I got away from it, like I said. But, like for you, when you get involved into something like, sneakers, you first off, you got to know what you're buying. Like, is it real or fake? But there's also like a certain history that goes behind each shoe, whether it's a Jordan, a Kobe, a LeBron. How are you still learning, just about like the sneakers that you're interested in, or the sneakers that you want to get, to make sure that, you're putting your money and your time towards like the stuff that you actually want, instead of just wasting your money on something that's easy to get?
Yeah, so like I think the biggest thing, so I think for our age, you were born in the 90s, I think we grew up in the perfect of the sneaker game, you know what I'm saying? First and foremost. And then two, like for me, like sneakers have literally been a part of my life since I could remember. I got baby pictures I don't remember, got on some J's, some Nikes, whatever. So
I'm the same way. I got all the baby pictures. I just, never got into it.
Yeah, so growing up as a kid, didn't really care. It's just like, oh, I want those because those are tight and they got Jordan on it, right? Everybody loved Jordan. Fast forward, as I got older, I would say more so like middle school is when I really started like getting heavy into the shoe game and like studying shoes and like learning the history behind shoes, SKU codes and just releases when they were dropping, things like that. Started getting on blogs, Nike Talk, and just started developing a love for the shoe culture at a very young age. And then from there, it's just at that point, it's just like, what do you like? First, you got to know your shoes, right? And then after that, you got to know what you like. And it's all subjective. I think at the end of the day, like to be a sneakerhead, I think you got to have the passion for it. You got to want to learn about the history. You got to know the history because it's all subjective. There's sneakerheads who can become sneakerheads just by buying a lot of shoes. But to me, that doesn't qualify you as a sneakerhead or a sneaker enthusiast. You got to know the history and understand where these shoes came from too. But I think for me, it just started at a very young age and just getting a passion early for it and just continue to follow what's new, follow the hidden gems. And it just never went away for me, honestly.
All right. So my thing growing up was baseball cards. I could tell you, the certain stats on about different players, and obviously that came with studying and just looking at the cards over and over again. And you said you would learn, you would study the shoes that you wanted. You're studying shoes. How do you study shoes?
So like early on, it was like East Bay magazines, and like a
Mhm.
lot of
Oh,
it was
I used to love those East Bay
it,
magazines.
it
I
was it
go in
was
and circle everything that I wanted that I knew I'd never gonna get.
so then from there, it's just like when you go on YouTube, you find a video and you go down the
Yeah.
rabbit kind
Uh-huh.
of us, but then there also was a few sites that had resources. So like a big site for me was Nike Talk, was basically like the Twitter for shoes at the time. It's still relative to this day, but there's so much social media, nobody really goes on there. But like people would post the shoes or the stuff that's gonna come out. And then Sneaker Files was another big resource for me growing up because they had all the colorways and all the Jordans, all the release date, the price tags. It was just like basically an archive of fucking Jordans and Nikes.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying. So I would spend a lot of time on that. And then when YouTube started to take treadway, there was like a few people like early on that would do like sneaker reviews, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, what is this? And so like using those resources and then starting my understanding from there, that's what triggered me to start, really like when I was able to buy shoes, like I knew exactly what I was going to buy because I had already been following these Nike Talks and these blogs already, like, oh, this is what's about to come out. This is how I like it. I save my birthday money up for this. And then it just kind of grew to an evolving form. And now I've got a full-time job and make some money, and I can
Have a little fun with them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not limited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still limited, but not like I used to be when I had no income.
What was your first pair of shoes that you bought?
That I bought with my own money,
Or just like or maybe like the first pair of shoes that got you hooked.
Man, that I could remember, I would say, damn, I don't know. I would say I had some Jordan 9s when I was like 3 or 4, and I would love those things. Like those are the charcoal 9s. There we go. The charcoal 9.
Okay.
Like my favorite ones of memory that I remember, like these are tight, like when I was a kid. And I got hella pictures with those shoes on. Hella pictures. Charcoal 9s probably.
So as you're buying shoes, did you ever get to a point where you did a lot of like the buy and then sell them?
No, I've resold shoes before, but I wouldn't say a reseller because besides maybe like 2 shoes, every shoe that I've sold, I just basically use that money to buy more shoes. So I basically recycled traded up to get some new shoes. I've never been heavy into reselling like that. Like because I like sneakers, like I cop to rock a lot. There's a business in the sneaker game now. It didn't used to be like that. Like people literally buy shoes just to resell them. Like I'm gonna buy a shoe because I like it, and then later down the road, if I haven't worn them in a while, or if the homie wants to buy them, I might resell them. But then I'm also already got it planned. Like, okay, if I'm gonna sell these, I'm just about to sell these just to get this shoe.
Yeah.
Something. So I'm not in the sneaker business. I've resold shoes, but I'm not a reseller.
What about as far as like not reselling but buying off like a third party? Do you do that, or do you kind of just like contain yourself to like just the direct consumption?
So it's like I said, the sneaker game has changed tremendously. So like in high school, when I was getting like the newest sneaker drops, like we would literally have to go camp out. We would literally have to go camp.
Yeah, I remember seeing all those videos, especially like during like the early, I'd say 2010s, when I guess like the shoes kind of blew up a little bit. When I first started high school, watching all the videos of people camping out, like I don't know, like it was Black Friday or something. They were just camping out, waiting for the shoes, and then some people wouldn't even get them.
Yeah. So I went to high school. I was in high school from 2006 to 2010. So I get some birthday money or some Christmas money. Sometimes that's when they had the Jordan packs coming out, so I could split it with a homie, so it'd be cheaper. We literally go to the mall at closing on a Friday and camp out until Saturday morning. Get shoes. It's first come, first serve, and that's how you had to get your shoes. Fast forward, when I got to college, it was still kind of the same way. But the Chico Mall was so small, like I had homies back home who could give me some shoes. So I was able to get them through them. And then like I say like 2013 probably or something like that is when a lot of the stores just start doing raffles. So you have to enter in online to get raffles. And it was way harder. And then Nike, you had to do the raffles and enter in the draws. And it was like impossible to get shoes. So then you had to try and know people who work at shoe stores, kind of have connects, get in some sneaker communities and do like overseas releases. And then like if it was some real hot shoes that you really wanted that already sold out, like you would have to go third party. And so I kind of do a mixture. Like I mainly use GOAT, the GOAT app for like shoes that I can't get on release day or from a connection or from a homie or something. And then also like to get my older kicks, sometimes I go on eBay. I go and shop some kicks too. Every now and then. I get more gear off of eBay, but I do get some kicks every now and then. More OG sneakers.
Okay. So I'm sure like, you have people around you that might come to you for advice since you know a little bit more about this than like the average person. And I'm sure, over time you kind of develop a skill to be able to spot what's a real shoe and what's a fake shoe. So can you kind of like give some examples of maybe like, not for maybe a specific shoe, but maybe just like an overall of what maybe somebody could look for between what a real shoe looks like and what a fake shoe might look like?
Now it's almost impossible without.
Is it really?
It's very tough now, especially with the fakes are just getting so much better. But just understanding the shoe, QC. So one thing, you got to know what the boxes look like. You got to know what the labels look like. You got to know what the font looks like. And a lot of times now, if you don't have a comparable shoe, like you always have references online now. There's a lot of people who do like fake, how to spot fakes with sneakers. So you can use that. But just like if you didn't know nothing, you would have to know your knowledge of sneakers. You got to start from the box. You got to start from reading the label. You got to start from reading the SKU code. And then on the actual shoe, the quality of the material, like Nike and Jordan and these big name factories, their QC is like bar none. Like
QC is quality control, right?
Yeah.
Quality control. Okay, cool.
Exactly. And so a lot of times is you got to look at the very detailed spots. Like stitching is a very big one that people would miss. The coloring of the outsole, the coloring of the shoe in general, the inside of the shoe, how the stitching is. It's a lot of the small minor details where the fakes mess up on, like the stitching on a corner of a shoe or something, or on the midsole might look a little bit off. But then there's sometimes you get a fake and you won't know if it's fake. But my rule of thumb is if you think it's fake, don't even entertain
don't even
it.
Try. Yeah.
At all. But that's why places like the third party, like GOAT, is kind of helpful with that because they authenticate. And even if I do buy stuff from them, I authenticate it myself too. I can't trust somebody else looking at it. It could be another person like me that could have made a mistake, because there's no, you can't go to school for this stuff. It's not like Nike is teaching a class on fake Nikes. Like these are regular people who like shoes who started doing it. So, you know what I'm saying?
So as of right now, how many pairs of shoes do you have in total?
Ooh, I don't know, probably like 150 plus, maybe.
Okay. Oh shit.
That's including.
You said that, and I said okay, like it was like something. I was like, oh shit. It took me a second after.
Yeah, that would include like running shoes, basketball shoes, and shoes to rock. So all in like 150 plus for sure.
So I guess like the problem of like why I think I never really got into it was I couldn't even imagine having that many pairs of shoes because I couldn't imagine like going like, without like wearing them for like so long. So how do you, I don't know, are there like certain shoes like in that selection that I'm sure it's like, you have a list of like, these are the shoes I always go to, and these are the shoes that I just have, but I'm probably never going to wear. Like, do you have that?
Not kind of. So I think right now I probably only have maybe 6 shoes total that I've never worn.
Okay.
But 4 of them I got within the last like 4 to 5 months. You know what I'm saying? So recently, and then I got like,
haven't worn?
It's hard with COVID. Ain't really no place to go.
Okay.
So it's just
I get you. If you're gonna put them on, you're going out. I get you.
And then the other 2, like one of them is this Goku Adidas shoe. It's kind of like a collector. I haven't had the right outfit to like bust them out, and And then another shoe is just, I don't even know why I haven't worn it. I've been actually looking for a reason to wear it, but haven't. But I generally like I'll sit on some shoes for some months before I wear them. But like, I think I only have, I think maybe like 6 shoes that I haven't worn, and 4 of them have been copped within the last 6 months. So I pretty much wear all my shoes. But to your point though, I kind of go through a phase like new shoes, and I'll start to rock them. And then it's like as I keep getting more shoes, it's like on to the next, and it kind of just cycles through. And then sometimes it's like, oh, I want to bring out some old shoes. Let me rock these.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite shoe right now? Or maybe a favorite shoe right now, and then maybe a favorite shoe of all time?
Man, I would say right now, like to just rock the Yeezy 700 Wave Runner. That shoe is just so comfortable, and it goes with anything. It's just so clean.
What color do you have?
You want me to get them? I can grab them real quick.
Yeah, can you? That'd be cool. Yeah. Because you're saying all these shoes, and I have no idea what you're talking. Oh, I can see all the boxes. Holy shit.
That's one closet. These are kind of dirty right now, but
okay. I've seen pictures of those before. I like those. Those are nice.
These are super, super comfortable though. Like, you can get a pair of Yeezy 700s. I would highly recommend those, man. They're just so comfortable. So comfortable, man. Do
they have them like in like what will, I guess I want to say, do you have like a wide foot or like just like a normal foot with the sizing?
I got a narrow foot, but those fit true to size though. Fit true to size.
And then, so what's your like favorite shoe of like all time?
I would say my favorite shoe, it kind of changed over the years, but recently it's been the infrared Jordan 6s. I don't know why. I think I have more favorite shoes in categories. Like for Jordans, it's the infrared 6s. For Nike SBs, it's the De La Soul Dunks. For Yeezys, it's the Yeezy 2 Platinums or Yeezy 1 Platinums. So I kind of got more favorite shoes in categories. It's a lot easier for me to play. But all time, I would maybe say the Jordan Infrared 6 because it's been my favorite shoe for the longest, I would say.
Okay. All right. So with all these shoes, and you talked a little bit about how you were when you were in high school, you'd have to go and camp out. Do you have like a crazy story, like something like that goes along with one of the pairs that you have right now?
Oh yeah. Hold on, let me grab those too.
All right.
They're beat, but I still got them. So I still got these from high school. These is from 08. They're beat up, but the Beijing Olympic 6s. These came out in Olympics 08 when they were in Beijing. Super limited drop. I think they only released at like 2 stores in the mall at the time. But me and my homie Tommy were camping out. We got to the mall until it closed on like a Friday or whatever. I can't even remember. I think it was the weekend. We got our lawn chairs, and then we just went outside. And then there's this one spot at Arden Mall where they used to always have the lines. And so we start sitting up there. We're like the first 10 people. We're like, we're about to get we're good.
So there were already people there before you.
Well, it's like all at the same time because they didn't even up until they started clearing out the parking lot. So you had to wait and then like try and run there as fast as you can. And they'd have security like always monitoring and stuff, right? So that way the lines not getting too crazy. And then for the shoes actually dropped and they opened the mall, they put cones and lines up and caution tape for the store you're trying to get into. So then that shit gets all hectic. But during that line, throughout the night, like hell of people are coming. It's probably, I don't know how many people, but over 100 for sure. Something like that. It was a lot of people. There was these girls, and I don't know, they must have knew somebody or something. They got into an argument. They got into a fight with some dude. They jumped this dude.
Oh shit.
Then they left off in a car. They came in another car and like ran through the line and hit some people and like skirted
in the car?
The car, bro.
Oh
they ran people over with the car.
Over some shoes.
Over some shoes. I don't even know over some shoes, but it was a shoe line. And then security came. And then the girls came again in another car and was just barking at the mouth. But at that time, the cops and security was there, so nothing really happened. But I think that's like the craziest thing I've seen. Like they hit with the car that was waiting in line.
So what's going on after like the situation dies down? What are you guys just sitting there? Because I'm pretty sure I'd just be like, dude, what the hell did we just see?
Yeah, like basically like the line got all jacked up. So like we were pretty much at the front. And then after that stuff happened, it got like everybody was like, oh, what the heck, like backing up. And the line kind of like broke up.
Yeah.
To just get back to your spot. After that, like we trying to get these shoes. That don't involve me. Because we were more in the front and it happened more in the back though.
Okay.
So like good. Like we were good as far as like being safe. But then like when it happened, like people were like moving and scurrying out the way because when they peeled off, they came back towards the front and like got in our way too. But they didn't attempt to hit us. But it got all broken up and then you try to hurry up and get back to your spot, man. It was wild. It was wild. That's the crazy.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
How many do you remember how many shoes that store was selling?
No. It was kind of a lot, but not really. But it was like, I think it was only Foot Locker and Champs that got them. It wasn't all the stores in the mall though. Like there's like 4 shoe stores, only 2 of them got them.
Okay. So when it comes to like camping out like that, I'm always interested in like what people like are doing during like those times, because I mean it's kind of like hard to like I would think it's hard to sleep because you kind of want to watch out where you're at. I've really only camped out, not even camped out, but like just waited outside a Giants game for like 5 hours for a bobblehead. That's like the most I've ever done, the most I could probably handle. But like when
bobbleheads from a Giants game too.
Really? They have some good ass bobbleheads. They do.
Posey ones.
Buster Posey. See, the last time I went, I got they had the Crook and I'm probably saying the Crook and Kipe. The commentators, I had them. Yeah, that was the game I went to. The last one was a Dodgers game, and they were doing that.
Oh yeah, that's dude.
But I was like, so when you're going through and you're sitting down, like you said, you're waiting all night. What are you doing in like other situations where like a fight isn't breaking out? Like to try to like, maybe to stay awake or maybe just like to not be bored during it.
And I've never camped out alone. I've always had at least one homie, my main homie, Tommy. And then sometimes it'd be like a group of us, like 4 or 5 of us. So we in high school at the time. So
yeah. So you got stuff to talk about.
You already staying up. Like when you in high school, summer break, like you were already staying up. All night anyway, so it wasn't that hard. If somebody did need to sleep, like we just made sure that somebody was up. But I honestly don't ever remember just sleeping though either. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they were weekend drops too. Like I don't remember camping out during the week for any shoes. I think they were all Saturday releases.
Okay, so do you have like a balance to like something else that you like to do besides learning about sneakers, or studying them? Like, do you have a balance of something that you like to do besides the whole sneaker stuff?
Yeah, so obviously sports, that's one in itself. That sports is sports, and sports help me love sneakers too. So outside of that, I would say definitely just like growing. Right now, I've been like, because I'm about to purchase my first home. Well, I'm not in the process, but like that's my next goal. I'm also getting married this year.
Okay, congratulations.
So just creating a better future. So like entrepreneurship, financial literacy, understanding credit, investments, all the adult stuff that we don't get taught. Basically, just investing.
So does that kind of tie into? I was going through, just Instagram, and I saw you a lot about like Fire Your Boss, the FYB. Does that kind of go? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I feel like that, and like learning about how you said about the financial stuff, the credit and all that. I feel like that actually kind of plays into the whole Fire Your Boss mentality. So can you first talk about what Fire Your Boss is to you, and then how it kind of ties into the learning that you've been doing?
Yep. So it's me and two of my homies both went to Chico State. Josiah Greer or Damaris, and then Tim Hackett, aka Reese. I think you might know Tim actually. He was my roommate too, but you might have met him. But if you go on the IG, you'll see.
Uh-huh.
Started with us three, just joking around, and then we were like, "Oh, let's sell some hats." This is like 2016, like right when I graduated from Chico. It's like, "Oh, let's sell some hats." We just kind of just were winging it because
Mhm.
Tim worked at Lids. And then it kind of grew. Then we started doing the Wise Word Wednesdays, which we've been doing for almost 4 years now. And so every Wednesday, just a minute clip of some motivational words. And then we started getting other people stringing along with that. And then that kind of grew into its own thing, motivational speaking, and just giving wise words to people, to everybody, and everybody can participate because you never know. Each one reach one. You can touch somebody with that. And then from there, it kind of grew to my homie Damaris. He works at Sac State in the EOP office, and he signed up for a motivational speaking competition, and he won it. So now he has an even bigger platform and has been called to speak to some places, all because of Wise Word Wednesdays. And so now what we're working on doing right now is, so we had a t-shirt drop in the fall, then we got this sweatshirt drop now. And what we're doing is we're reselling we're purchasing or doing pre-orders for these sweatshirts. And what we're doing is we're collecting the profits and we're issuing scholarships now. So the last drop we were able to raise over $500.
Oh, that's
And
great.
so that's what we're trying to build right now. Like that's
Mhm.
our next big push. So the first drop we raised over $500 for a scholarship to Project Optimism, which helps the youth. If you look them up on IG, you'll see it's ran by one of our homies, Armani, and he has a big following and he mentors a lot of youth. So we did that drop for him. This one we haven't figured out who yet, but ultimately what we're trying to do is a couple drops a year and take these profits, and now we can give a scholarship literally to a kid about to go to college or that's in college. So that's what we're kind of building right now, trying to build a bigger following, a bigger movement, and then use these drops to give back to the community.
What makes you want to do that? What makes you want to do that? That's the first part.
So I think for me first, it was just like I always want to give back, to the youth regardless. So I kind of got into coaching. I help out with my old high school team with basketball, help coach some competitive soccer. So I've always had the mind to give back, to the youth. And then I also in the future, like before I left Chico, I was like, I want to do a scholarship. I want to have a Air DT scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to create a scholarship for somebody else who may need that resource. And then just with the homies Damaris and Rees, it was kind of the same thing. Like we wanted to give back too. So it kind of transformed. At first, it was just like, oh, let's sell some hats, let's make some money. And then once we started the Wise Word Wednesdays, it's like, oh, bro, people are really messing with this movement. Like we can make this into something. And like we kind of jotted ideas on like, what can we do? Oh, let's give back to the youth. Let's go help out here.
Mhm.
Let's go do this, go do that. And so it kind of just grew. But like I feel like we've always wanted to give back, but we didn't know how. But as the Wise Word Wednesdays grew, we kind of started streamlining towards giving back towards the youth, because for each one of us, it was kind of like that. We didn't have a consistent mentor every year teaching us the ropes like we do now. All of us are first generation college students, so it was just kind of giving back to what we didn't have at the time. So that's kind of.
That's great. And I think the good thing about it is it's I mean, you're laying a foundation right now of things. You're laying out right now early what's important to you, and I just feel like starting something like this early just builds like a good foundation. And what I like about doing like the podcast is what we're doing right here is getting to hear like the stuff that people are doing outside of like the normal what you thought they might have been doing.
Yeah.
Because I never like like I said, like I know you wanted to be I wanted to talk with you about entrepreneurship, and I wanted to talk with you about what Fire Your Boss meant and what that meant to you, but I didn't even know that you were doing something like that. So that's great, man, and it's great that you were able to to tell me that. And because I mean I like hearing stories like that. That's cool. You and your friends are doing that, man.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like you know that goes along with your entrepreneurship journey that you've been talking a little bit about. You know, what are you doing with that, man? What are you doing right now?
So it's kind of a segue into different things. So my fiance, she has her lash business where she's a lash tech and she does people's lashes and she has lash products that she sells. So we have a segue there. Then I got like some online marketing stuff that I've through a coworker that knows some people that I've been in contact with, that the FYB stuff, and just learning what else can I do to grow it besides, investing in a Roth IRA or the stock market. Like what else can I own and create? Buying a house, obviously, but just getting further, like working in the not just working in the construction industry. I would just say graduating college, more
Okay.
so, and just meeting a lot of different people. Like I've literally met millionaires before, and
Mhm.
I've talked to, not saying that they're going to help me, build anything, but I do know some that can. But then on the flip side, just like seeing people live fantastic lives, crazy lives, and like you wouldn't even think that that's what they do,
Mhm.
or like that. But just being introduced to different people who have a lot of big things that you would never expect, and just always having my eye open and my ears open for different opportunities. Like obviously I knew I wanted to go to school and get a degree, and get a good job, but that's also all I knew.
Mhm.
Like what I know isn't necessarily what I wanted in life though, too. Like my life once is bigger than what this industry, my career can provide me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I know it's probably like that for a lot of people. Like you might have this big idea of how you want your life to be, but will the path that you're on right now get you there? I
Mhm.
don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
kind of what it was for me. It's like, okay, I can get there, but I have to do more than just work at this company. I have to
Mhm.
do more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I
So
do. I totally get what you're saying. Mhm.
that's
So
kind of
you.
how.
Mhm. So you said something that was interesting. And it was about getting to talk to people who are millionaires. And as somebody who wants to be like in entrepreneurship, I obviously that is a goal among other things, is to have that, hey, I'm a millionaire, come from it. And I feel like it's interesting that you said that, because I just got done watching this thing that Kevin Hart did. And what Kevin Hart explained was he was lucky, or he said he was lucky enough to get to be in the room with Jeff Bezos, who, for anyone that doesn't know, that's the CEO of Amazon. And Kevin Hart asked his buddy, "Hey, do you think I should go up and say hi to Jeff Bezos and talk to him and get to know him?" And his buddy was like, "No, man, don't do that. Be cool, be cool." And Kevin Hart was like, it took Kevin Hart a minute to be like, "Wait, that's Jeff Bezos. That's somebody I want to try to emulate. That's somebody I want to try to get to. I'm gonna go talk to him." And I feel like that's great, like for you, getting to talk to the millionaires, of how you said, because it just shows, kind of like in that Kevin Hart situation, why not take like that opportunity to reach out to somebody who obviously knows a little bit more about you than business, because they've gotten to the point where they are. And what do you think about that? Because I feel like if you're in a room with somebody that you want to learn from, you might as well just go ask them, because the worst thing they can tell you is, I don't want to talk right now.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I've already been like that, whether it was like trying to get rich or become financially independent, whatever it was. Like
Hmm.
sports, it was like, oh, that dude's raw, or like, dang, he's a pro or something. Like, let me go try and talk to him, or the coach who was an All-American, or whatever the case was. I feel like I've always been, from a kid, like if I see somebody that's older than me or further than me down the path that I'm trying to go on, or just successful, it's like, let me just go talk to them, or try and get around them and see what they do,
Uh-huh.
or not necessarily like, hey, my name is Derek. I would like to do this, not necessarily that, but it's just like, you notice when somebody's like, further along the path than
Yeah.
you successful people, you know what I'm saying? You recognize it, and it's like, okay, let me try and see what they do or how they maneuver, whether it was a big event or a small event. Sometimes it's like, hey, this is so and so, you might get introduced to somebody. It's like, oh, snap. And then you by chance have a conversation. Oh, dang, this dude he's really sharp. Oh,
Hmm.
I would have never known this. So I feel like I've always had a keen eye and ear to just try and get around people who are further than me at
Hmm.
the end of the think. growing up and graduating college, it just grew even bigger because now those things that I would look forward to as a kid are here in front of me. It's reality now. Like I have to make something. I have to do something now. You know what I'm saying? It's not a dream anymore. I'm here.
So
You
who
know?
would you so who would you say like right now are like people that you would that you kind of like maybe go to for motivation, or maybe just some people who just kind of like inspire you to like, keep pushing in a sense, to to keep doing what you've been doing.
So I think, I mean, for me, like I've also been growing and learning a lot. Like I have to be my biggest motivation at the end of the day. If I don't understand something, I will try and utilize my resources. But like I feel like everybody close and around me, they always uplift me and encourage me to do something. But I don't necessarily seek encouragement and motivation from others. You know, I have to be the one first and foremost to motivate myself. But if I do not understand something, or if I do want to find the answer to something, I will go out to my resources. But everybody around me supports me at the end of the day. But like anybody successful, I look up to. I read pretty hefty, daily about building success, building yourself. And then just like, I mean, obviously it's kind of hard. You can't just follow Jeff Bezos and expect to
Yeah.
be those in that sense, because he's not going to help me he's not going to help me build whatever I'm build, right? But I like to look at successful people from what they stand by and the things that their principles, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily I want to copy his business model, but they have success principle. Who are these people around?
I
What do
like
they
that.
what kind of routines do they have? What kind of books do they read? That way you can build yourself up to go do whatever it is that you need to do. You can't just copy every successful person's formula. That's not what it is. But you can copy their principles.
So what are some, I mean, I love reading, and I tend to try to always ask like a reading question. But like what are some of like the books that you've read that have helped you so far?
That's so this one, Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. I think this was like the first like real entrepreneur book I read when I think I like fresh graduated, like within like the first couple of weeks of graduating. I've read this like 3 times already.
Okay.
This is a popular book for people trying to go on the entrepreneurship journey or just want to learn more. That's a good book. But this one right here, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. This is probably one of my favorite books that I own.
That says jumpstart what? Jumpstart your income, your life, your success. Darren Hardy.
Yeah, The Compound Effect. And this one basically just talks about, how the small daily habits equal big results down the road. You waking up every day and reading for 20 minutes a day can impact your life in a big way in a year. And you waking up, working out for 30 minutes a day for 3 months can make a big transformation. You know what I'm saying? So small things, how the small things compound into bigger things over time.
Okay.
Grab like 2 more books.
I got to check out that one, The Compound Effect. I got to check that out. I'm looking at my bookshelf over here, right here. And not only do I have like 5 books for classes, but I also have like 6 books I haven't gotten to yet. So
yeah,
I got to stop buying books for a second though.
John C. Maxwell right here. Great author.
No Limits. Okay.
This is a very good book too. I read a lot of basically self-growth books.
Self-growth.
So John C. Maxwell. This is basically like maximizing your potential. Don't put limits on yourself. Just doing more than you think you can even do. But this applies to anything. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're trying to do, this is a good book.
Okay.
And then the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Just like certain principles to live by while you're trying to grow. And that's a good one, John C. Maxwell. And then I would say this is the last one I'll do for now. The Go-Giver. It tells a story about how giving, basically how giving can come back to you in a great form, but not giving yourself, but giving because you enjoy watching other people's success. Kind of, it's a story, but it has some messages in there too.
I like it. I like that one. The Go
I'll
Give.
send you pictures after this too.
Yeah,
So
please do. Yeah, and I'll send you a couple because I think there's a couple that I have that you would like. Definitely, probably the "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins. That was
oh
probably
yeah,
that was.
yeah. I'll follow him. That dude is tight.
Yeah, he is. That's probably the best book I've read maybe the past year, and I got a couple up there that I'll have to send you. But yeah, man, it's amazing. Like how many books and shit are out there. I always like just realize like it's crazy how much like the wealth of information that is out there, and different things.
It's essentially free. You know, you're paying pennies for that.
And I feel like I've gotten to a point where a lot of like I have like kind of dumb knowledge in a sense where like the knowledge that I have is only in the certain aspects of like things that I enjoy. So that's like not mental or mental health. I got a couple mental health books, like the self growth, some of history books. Like I feel like I know a lot, but only about like certain things. And I don't know, just that dumb knowledge, I think that I'm probably never going to use, but I just have.
It's just not as applicable, but that's kind of like, that's just kind of how we've been structured though. Like think about how many classes you took, even in college, that you don't use in your day-to-day life or
all my math classes.
It's just like, it's a structure. So I started to think, I feel like I've always thought outside the box, but when you don't have the resources to read or think about other stuff outside the box, you just don't do it. Not saying that you can't do it, you're just not around it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about the stock market, and how much do you know about like what's going on with GameStop and what happened with that? Because I still have no idea what really went down.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay. We're in the same boat.
Because I don't have any, I barely just started buying stocks like last year. I've kind of been doing research on it already, but I finally like put literally a couple dollars.
Okay.
I mean, I don't day trade or nothing like that, but I'm thinking long term, 10, 15 years down the road investments. But it's something about, I'm not even going to try and speak on it because I don't want to say the wrong information, but I was actually gonna plan on watching some videos and catching up on that. I know I had some hedge funds and buying to the consumer at a lower
I know something like that. And the thing like with the videos too is I've watched some of the videos, but I'm like the kind of person where I could watch all that and still have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm trying to find somebody who can just explain it to me in like the dumbest way possible, just because I need to be able to understand. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that either. I'm just looking for the easiest way to understand what concept that people were able to make millions off of GameStop. So if anyone out there is listening, get in touch with me on Instagram so you can explain it to me in the easiest way, most understandable way as possible. I would really enjoy that. That'd be incredible. Man. So real quick, it's Wednesday as we're recording this. You talked a little bit about how you and your friends have started the Wise Word Wednesdays. Before we get off this and before I ask you these two final questions, can you go in and can you give us maybe something that we can take into the weekend and, into, the rest of the year pretty much?
Yep. One thing I've been saying since I don't even remember where I heard it from, but I've been saying this at least since high school. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So whatever you're trying to do, you have to develop a plan to get it. You know what I'm saying? So a goal without a plan is just a wish. That's one of the mottos that I live by, and I think it's applicable to anybody along any journey.
A goal without a plan is what? It's
just a wish.
I just found the episode title. All right, perfect. I always try to pick out one part of like what I'm going to use, and I've been sitting here waiting, and that's perfect. So a goal without a plan is just a wish. I love that. That's awesome.
I heard it, I was like, man, that's crazy because that's really all it is.
I mean, honestly, just reading this, like just reading it, just makes me like, well, just get your ass to work, pretty much. Just start working. Yeah. Start working towards your goal, man. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. No, can you hear me? We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, man. So I got two final questions for you. Always in the show with two final ones. I'll go first. When after I ask this, and then I'll let you go in just to kind of give you an idea of where my headspace was when I was, coming up with these. So if you were guaranteed to be successful in a different profession, what would you want to do? So like for me, I'll just say besides podcasting, I think it'd be really cool to be an author and just write a bunch of books, especially if I can write like a big series that gets turned into a movie series. That'd be pretty cool.
Does being an athlete count?
Yeah, you could do that. Being an athlete.
All right, so I'll give the general. Okay, be an
athlete,
a basketball player, a soccer player specifically.
Okay.
Right? And I'll kind of go the different route. I'd want to be a coach.
A coach.
A coach.
What sport?
Soccer. I don't know. Actually, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.
You just want to be a coach.
Coach. I just now that I've graduated and started helping out with coaching, just seeing sports that I've played from a different perspective is just like it's damn near mind blowing. And I look at the game and I appreciate it a lot more. And then it's just like the way and watching the growth, because right now I'm basically coaching kids, 13-year-olds for soccer, and then all levels in the high school. I've just helped around, but just watching the kids grow. And it'd be the same thing if I was a coach in any sport, watching the player development. You know what I'm saying? So I think coaching, I would love to get into coaching, whether it's a coach, skill coach, or athletic coach in some fashion.
All right. And then number 2, what's the most peaceful use of, what's the most useful piece of information that someone has recently given you? For me, somebody just told me that I just needed to slow down and enjoy things and not try to rush through everything I do. That was for me.
That's a good one.
Actually, I can honestly say the best piece of advice was just given to me by you. With a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I'm gonna reverse and use that one for my.
That's a good one. I would say basically not letting other people's emotions dictate your actions. My homie Reed said that recently, I think like 2 weeks ago on a Wise Word Wednesday. Basically, whatever negative energy or emotions that other people have about you or around you, don't let that dictate how you're going to respond or how you're going to move forward with doing whatever you're doing. So don't let the outside world interfere with what you have going on. Obviously to an extent, right? To an extent. Just, keeping your peace of mind and blocking out anything that doesn't help you.
I like that, man. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. I really do.
Appreciate you for having me. Let's chop it up offline too.
Yeah, we'll have to do that, man. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. I hope you're able to take something away from it. I will be back on Monday with another episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the show, so you never miss an episode. Follow the podcast on Instagram and go please leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. Until Monday, keep working.
That's a crazy one.